Okay, in this video I'm gonna talk a little more calm because sometimes being respectful, kind, calm does not work out. With these kind of a psychopath murderers. I want to explain something very, very important on what happened to me in 2013. What was happening before then in Houston, Texas. Houston is not Sean Stone. It's not a person. It's a city where people live. Okay, it's not Oliver Stone. I bought a house in over there. In Texas. That was in what I believe 2011, early 2011. There was a lot of mysterious things happening, like car follow me, car crashes to me, my sisters, my brothers. Anyway, so I'm just gonna explain, just to make this story short, I'm gonna explain what happened to me in 2013, sometimes November 2013. I believe it was 22, 21st, or maybe 23rd, a week before Paul Walker faked his death. Okay. This is Deborah Zatori, Paul and Court. Alright. But remember, it's a game of three. So it's like Adam is involved. The Nirvana band, Paul and Court and Adam. Alright. So one night, alright, I just want to explain something else very important. Jonathan Hollick is not Jonathan Poe. They were just referring that because, of the trick and treat. Alright. So I just want to say that Jonathan is not even Jewish. Alright, he's just a fucked up Christian. There's fucked up Christian, Muslim, Jewish out there. Could be from any religion, any skin color, Not everybody's like always, Anyways, so yeah, they were possessing even Jonathan. I have nothing to do with Jonathan. Jonathan is not my Kennedy brothers. He's not my family. He's just an ex that's over with. It's not Sean Stone. It's not Scooter. It's not Paul Walker. It's not Kurt. It's not Adam. Jonathan was just Jonathan. They were referring Jonathan as these fuckers. But hey, that's the past. I'm just gonna explain what happened 2013, November 2013. A week before Paul Walker fakes his death. And I have photos to prove it. In fact, Carol Doe, as my sister, she's referred as my sister Viana, she was outside to witness when Paul Walker shows up on my house. That late that night, I don't remember, I believe it was sometimes around midnight or after midnight. Everybody was asleep, it was late that night. One night, yeah, Jonathan was drinking, he was outside. And Carol has her boyfriend Anthony. Anthony is none of these guys. They have name Anthony, don't get confused. Alright. He was also drinking inside the house. I was not drinking. Carol was not drinking. A truck shows up at the house. And I have the photos of the truck. Alright, let me show you. The pictures of the truck where Paul Walker drove that night. Remember that they could make millions of dollars off of me and my family, but they can drive a truck that has symbols and all that on it, where they can empty our banks. But also has their own names on it, stuff like that. It sounds like trick and treat. Alright, that's why he shows up at the house with a truck. You also see that in my brother Jason Mraz, John Kennedy, Leonardo DiCaprio. The song I'm Yours. He's talking about Paul Walker and Court, Deborah Zatori in the truck. Alright, it's in here somewhere. But yeah, I have to explain the numbers later, what it means, and all that later on. There's a date on it. Actually, I think I posted those photos of the Paul Walker's truck while he was driving that early that morning after what happened, and I posted on Facebook, I believe the same day, so it has a date on it. If not, I have it in my other computer. It actually could show up what date it was taken, the photos, because usually on your computer it will have a date on it. Anyways, this is like, remember how I also play me, how they want to be me, and my sister and sisters and brothers, they're not even men. Alright, so the truck is somewhere in here. Remember how Paul Walker fakes his death? Alright, remember the car, remember how it's trying to be me. Alright, I was also making fun of Paul Walker. This Nirvana band, in coded language, of course, trying to stay safe but keeping it very artistic way. Where is it? Where is the truck? It's in here somewhere. All right, here we go. All right, so this is the truck that Paul Walker was driving. This is the number to the truck. It says Virginia. I believe what idea of the Virginia is, I think it's like what they are. I don't know if it's what they are. It's not Vienna. It's not heading for Venus. No. Remember Eddie from Mr. and Miss Smith? That's Paul Walker. Eddie, Vince. That's not Vin Diesel. Vince has a brother. Like Vin Diesel has a brother named Paul Walker, or Paul. That's Paul Walker. Vin Diesel is not my brother Akram. I was just saying that. Vin Diesel is referred as Kurt Cobain, Roy Killerman. All right. So this is the truck. This is the number for the truck that Paul Walker was driving that night. This is the house. This is the number of the house. That house that Paul Walker was bought. He was my neighbor for a while. He was planning my death. Yeah. So yeah, I have the actual photos of the truck outside the house. I have to make another video where I put Carol on the phone and explain that later on. Okay, what the numbers mean, what was it, why did he drove a truck. All right, anyways, so that night, November, sometimes I believe 22 or 21st or 23rd, 2013. All right, it was Houston, Texas. My neighborhood called Katy. I have a name Katy, right? So we have like a Walker Elementary School in the neighborhood. Paul Walker buys a house for a while, being my neighbor without me knowing it. Okay, planning my death to murder me. All right, this all based on numbers, numerology, and that's such. We're talking about trick and trick again. We are where we are today, guys, but still. All right. So that night, when Paul Walker shows up at the house, he does not turn off the truck, but he stopped by my mailbox for about 2 to 5 minutes. And Jonathan's dream's like, who is that? I was like, I don't know. I could not see from far because we're like standing outside, talking. And Jonathan's drinking and talking all loud and stuff. And Carol's like, yeah, I don't. I was like, Carol, do you know? Then Carol kind of, I guess she has glasses on or something. She sees better than I am during nighttime. So I'm like, is that Paul? Is that Paul? I go closer to the truck. And I see Paul Walker's face. Once I see, it's like, oh no! I back off fast as I can. I tell Carol I'll be right back. I go inside the house, and guys, Paul Walker was there to murder me. I could not see if there was another person sitting in the car, probably hiding, with the truck, not car. But the windows both were rolled down, his windows. So I didn't go too close, just as close as where I can see who that is. So I go to the house and I get the gun. I'm not a killer, guys. I already explained that when I was overseas for 5 years with, my professional military, soldiers that were representing my Kennedy brother's father. I was trained, and we never go just kill people. We have never done that. Later on, even 5 years later, Jonathan has weapons in the house. We never have done that. So that's like a 10 years experience with any kind of weapons. I would never do anything like that. So anyways, I go inside the house. It's called self-defense, in case. Okay, at least you can flood the entire until you call police. All right. So I go inside the house and get the gun. Of course, the gun is loaded, and I get a flashlight also. I'm using the techniques that I was taught when I was overseas. All right, self-defense. It's not attacking, it's self-defense. He was outside my house to murder me. He has no right to be outside my house. All right. So anyways, so I go inside the house, and we have like a circle by the house. So it will take Paul Walker a little time to make a circle to take off. Once I go inside the house, he's kind of making a circle to run off. But I already come inside, have the gun, hide it, all right, with it not visible. And tell Carol, go to the car fast as you can. She's like, what's going on? I was like, get in the car, get your new car. And let's follow this. This is Double Azador. She's like, who? That was like, she did not know because I did not tell Carol everything then. We get in the car and follow Paul Walker because he was there to kill me. It's a trick and treat. All right. And so we follow Paul Walker. We actually forced Paul Walker to get in the neighborhood. He was not so familiar to the neighborhood. He took the road where it's a dead end. So we pretty much put him in a lock zone, and he gets pissed off. I told Carol, flash his eyes. I give her the flashlight. It's like, flash his eyes to, make sure that he cannot like shoot, so he cannot see or back off until we call police. So I called the police, and they were like, can we help you? I was like, yeah, actually we have a man that shows up on my house. I believe that he's there to kill me or something like that. I don't remember exactly how I said it because I was nervous. They were in we're dealing with a murderer, right? So psychopath, you know. But then again, I told myself, if I call the police all the time, because you've seen this, like police officer can actually their lives could be risked to do dealing with a serial murderer, all right? They're very well trained for all these years. All killed, like what they did to my sister, raping little boys. They have got, they got problem with law, government for their crimes. They've been in jail before. Anyways, so I actually kind of hang up because I told myself, like, if I call the police, they all come here, somebody's gonna die. I'm telling myself I would rather be risk my life, but not my friend Carol, but instead of police officers come there and risk their own lives. So I told myself, I will just take care of it. Just scare him off so he can just run off and never come back. All right. So, but when there is a dead end, so he cannot go nowhere. He's pushing the gas where he can back off and hit Carol's car and kill both of us, just like that. But he has a gun. I know that for sure. But Carol's flashing. So we make sure that he doesn't pull the gun on us. He's pushing the gun. He's kind of threatening as I told Carol, back off as fast as you can. And that's where I hang up the phone when I called the 911. We back off where he has enough space he can get out. We see where he's going. I knew he was in the neighborhood because I've seen this truck driving by back and forth before. All right. Anyway, so he get off of our road, going toward where he got a house, where he was my neighbor for a while. I know that. So we still follow him. It's like, Carol, keep following. We follow Paul Walker. He's going so fast as he can. All right, as fast as he can. He's like driving, and he goes. It wasn't that far from my house. He goes to where the house that I took pictures the morning after. His garage was already open. We see the sign of a murderers. That they know what they're doing already. His garage is already open. So when he drove to his house, he drove straight to the garage as fast as he can, and he closed the garage. Not all the way, but he left a little open. Then once he gets out of the truck, right away we kind of like stop there, and he flashes Carol's eyes, point the gun at me and Carol. That's what I told Carol, to go drive as fast as you can. Let's get the fuck out of that neighborhood. He pulls the gun with the flashing. He's flashing and pulls the gun, as like wants to shoot us. I believe it would be a silent gun, because there's silent guns they can shoot. Nobody can hear it. That's why you see those robotic things that are posted as double azadori, those photos. There's the guns. When they shoot, you cannot hear the sound. So nobody would know this what happened. If you got murdered, nobody would know. He probably would took our bodies and experiment, just like they experiment on Vianney, and nobody would know what happened inside that house. He would lock us in those highly sophisticated machine they have and experiment. All right, so that's where once he pulled the gun and flashes, I told Carol to do fast as you can. Fast as you can. That's where we drove off, and that was it. So we go home. I didn't say anything, nothing like that. We never shoot Paul Walker. We never do anything. He pulls the gun like at the end, and I did not sleep because I was like, something is gonna happen. Carol and Jonathan, Anthony, they all slept. I stay up until when it's daytime. I took the camera and I drove. I was very scared to drive there by the house because I know where was it. So I drove that daytime. As soon as it was daytime, I drove there. His truck was outside. The garage was closed, but his truck was outside. So he was still up to something. I don't know what kind of he would do. I went there and took pictures as fast as you can, and I drove off. That was it. I never drove. I actually drove there a year after, just to see. All right. So, but I posted those pictures, I believe, the day after or the same day I took those photos and explained to what happened, what was Paul Walker gonna do. And a week after, they faked his death because they know it's gonna be exposed. They're gonna be by law. They're gonna be thrown in jail for their crimes. So they faked his death. He was very floppy by his, the the whatever the Fast and Furious team was. Vin Diesel is not my brother Akram. He's not a Kennedy. Vin Diesel is Kurt Cobain. Okay, so Vin Diesel has a brother named Paul. So they have a twin. They're now my twin Kennedy brothers. All right, guys. So, anyways, I believe that there were a second person in the truck. I don't know who it was, but it's a game of three, either Cora or Adam. It's a game of three, and so it was hiding their self. All right, but I don't know who it would be, so that's why I'm not gonna explain that. I'm not gonna go in detail, but that's what happened, guys, and I have photos to prove. And that's why he drove the truck. You know, it was a trick and treat. So he was my neighbor for a while, actually. I've seen that truck before driving back and forth, but Paul Walker knows me being very well trained, overseas for 5 years experience. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be it's gonna be a mess, you know. So that's why he was what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, because I know what I'm doing. But I'm not a killer. There's something called self-defense. You know, the reason I hang up, I did not want to risk any officers and their lives in danger. I knew that I've seen things like that. The psychopath like Paul Walker, murderers, he could shoot all the police officers. So I told myself, you know what? I'm just gonna take the risk. I know it was not a good idea, but even risking my friend Carol Doe, as she's my sister Vianney. Carol is not Adam. It's not Scooter, it's not Sean, it's not Court, it's not Paul Walker. She's the witness. And I'm gonna make another video, push her on the phone as a witness what happened that night. I have photos, I would not lie, there's a date on it. So I have posted those photos on Carol's, Facebook then. So anyways, I do have those photos, and I'm gonna put it in another video. I actually have photos of the truck outside the house. I'll explain that in my upcoming video, what it means, the numbers and all that. All right, see the numbers on there is 22, and that night I believe it was 22, November 22. Let me hold on a second. Man, all right, I posted this picture on Carol's page then, November. I don't know if you all can see that. Excuse me, it was on November 24th, 2013. Do y'all see that? November 24th, 2013. I posted this photo of Paul Walker's that night, this truck, right? On November 24th. I don't know if I post this a day after or 2 days after. I have to see the actual photos in the computer. When you take photos and put in your computers, it automatically have a date on it. But it could be a day or 2 days after or the same day. I honestly do not remember, so that's why I'm gonna make another video explain all that later on and what this number means. What does this mean? Of the Paul Walker's truck. All right, so that's just that. That was my friend Carol Doe's page. I posted this picture November 24, 2013. The location was Houston, Texas. My neighborhood is called Katy. I know I have a name Katie, so it's Vianney and all that, but it was. This is his house. This is the house I took pictures. And I have actually another picture where the truck was outside the house. So this was the morning after. All right. This was the number on the house. All right. This is what Paul Walker's originally coming from. So this was the number on that house, his house where he drove in. So I took those photos that morning and drove off as fast as I can, because it's very risky. So if y'all remember that, whoever were following me, you remember that I posted and exposed Paul Walker in 2013. I did expose what Paul Walker did, but I back off for everybody's safety. For my safety, my brother, sister, everybody's safety, I had to play chess, to play smart until I get somewhere safe and expose it all. That's why I have to play for safety, everybody's safety. All right, but remember, guys, I never just take the gun. A lot of people watch movies but that's not true. That's just a movie. I have 10 years experience with weapons. I've never would never even carry a gun. I don't have a gun now, but pretty much very soon I'm gonna get a lesson, get one. It's called self-defense. But I don't just go shoot people. They're psychopath. They could just kill anybody. So that's what happened that night. And I got a lot more to say when I put Carol on the phone. She's a witness on what happened. She drove as fast as she was actually really, she could drive. I was very surprised, you know. I was like, I give her flashlight. I was like, flash his eyes as I have the gun in my hand and phone. Actually, I called 911, but I hang up because I felt like you know, I'm risking everybody's life. This is a fucking murderer, a very well-trained murderer. All these years been trained, all this crime they did, you know. I know it was not a good idea, but you know, sometimes just actually, you know, we thought would be safer, but we could have both got shot to death that night by Paul Walker, one of the double Azzurri. You see, one of the double Azzurri, you know. So that's just that. They want to be women. It's not a joke. Paul Walker was there to actually murder me, you know, take me first, steal all my parts, put it on themselves, just like what they did to Vianney, the art of flipping, because they want to be women. They are not born. They don't feel like they're a man. They may look like a man, but they don't feel like it's like inside of them. There's like, I don't feel like a man. I feel like a woman. That's why they're Princess Diana, and Lola Sanchez and Yolanda. All right, the Nirvana band. Do you all not see how they dress? They want to be a woman, not just any woman. Kennedy sisters, you know. So I believe that night I would have been, you know, captured, put in those highly sophisticated machine, and been tortured, experiment on, just like my sister Vianney, and you know, nobody would have known what happened. Helen actually did warn me before. It's like these transgender, they compete with you, that they're not men. You know that. I'm like, yeah, I know. Anyway, so it's a very dangerous game. There's different type of games, guys, but you know, they're murderers. All right. So that's what happened that night. And I have a lot more to say in my upcoming video when I'm gonna explain the numbers on the truck, his house number, location, you know, what happened, and also put Carol's on the phone. So because I don't want anybody to get hurt, I don't want me to get hurt, because they're gonna try it again. They're not gonna stop until they learn. By law, they get thrown in jail this time and never taken out. You know. They're not gonna get away with it this time. I'm gonna make sure nobody gets hurt. You know, that happened in Texas, guys. Did not happen in Tennessee. I live in Tennessee now. That happened in Texas. It has nothing to do where I'm at. That was in 2013. That was almost 5 years ago. So remember, that's why they faked Paul Walker's death, and it was all floppy. It was people laughing at it, it's like, oh, you know, and all that. So I have to explain all that later on. But that's what happened that night. None of my family member would just take the gun and go kill people. That's not true. There's something called self-defense. You know, imagine any of you out there, you have murderers coming after you, brothers, sisters, wife, children. What you gonna do? You're just gonna say, oh, it's okay to kill and murder and rape, steal? No, it's not okay. By law, they will get caught this time for their crimes. You know, so that's what happened, and it's really sad because I play safety. I spoke in coded language, but in 2013 I actually exposed William Greer, Roy Kellner, and Deborah Azzurri, Paul and Court, and Adam. Part of it, he's involved. It's a game of three, but I back off. A lot of people said, "What happened when Jacqueline Boover did join these murderers?" I was like, "No, I play chess. I play for safety. Everybody's safety, my safety, everybody else's safety." A lot of people still expose it because they knew I was actually playing, so we all can stay safe. That's what happened. Remember, there's the differences between self-defense and just Paul shows up on my property. He has no right to be outside my house. And like we had like a little circle. I know my neighbors. You know, I know like all my neighbors. They were not. Paul Walker did not live there. Actually, it was like few block away from the house. It was not that far. Few block, not even 1 minute. And so he bought the house, you know, years before. Actually, to plan my death. Actually, after I bought the house, but years before to plan my death. And the car crash, remember? You guys, it was not what I was saying. I misunderstood everything. It was actually the game of three. You obviously see this new song from me, Justin Bieber. I'm the one. I'm not Xtina Deli, Vian is. But also saying I'm running out of time because they're gonna plan my death by numbers. They want to come and kill me. And it's not gonna happen because it's not government. I have no problem with any government. All right. You obviously see these three in there: Lil Wayne as Paul Walker, William Greer, all right, and Quavi as Kurt Cobain, Rui Kellerman. So we have Double Azzadori, Paul and Kurt, and Chance the Rapist as Klein Hale, Adam Levine. So we have these three Nirvana band, okay?